All right, so I want to simplify this rational equation. So I have a negative and I have a divide here. So according to BEDMAS, I should do the divide first. But generally in a question like this, you want to start by factoring. So the first two terms cannot be factored. Over here, I can factor the top by doing a perfect square. You could also do a complex trinomial. You'd end up with the same solution, but it would take a bit more time. So I'm just going to perfect square this. The square root of 4m squared is 2m. I take the sign from the middle term, and the square root of n squared is just n. So, and I put a square. The bottom I can do with difference of squares. So that's 2m plus n times 2m minus n. Now I can factor both the top and bottom here, but in order to save a bit of time, I'm also going to flip my divide into a multiply. I'm going to flip this fraction upside down and factor it at the same time. So if I factor this bottom, it's a common factor of 3, and I'm left with m plus 5n. And I'm going to write that on the top because I flipped the divide into a multiply. And to factor the top, that's a complex trinomial. So I'm going to do that on a small paper over here on the side. So I have 6m squared minus mn minus n squared. So I'm going to multiply 6 times -1, which is -6. I'm going to add to my middle term, which is -1. So my numbers are -3 and +2. I'm going to do decomposition now. So minus 3mn plus 2mn minus n squared. I just broke down this middle term into my two numbers. I'll factor by grouping now. So 3m is my common factor, and I'm left with 2m minus n. And over here, my common factor is just n. I'm left with 2m minus n. This is just 2m minus n times 3m plus n. And I'll fill that out over here. Okay, so now that I've done that, I can state my restrictions next. So my restrictions are going to be over here. M cannot equal to, so if I hide this, it would be m cannot equal to -n, and then I just divide by 2. This one is the same as this. This one is just positive n over 2. This one is again n over 2 is the same as this one. And this one over here is just -n over 3. Don't forget, when you flip a divide into a multiply, you need to state the restrictions from the top over here. So we have one more restriction of m cannot equal to -5n. So 4 restrictions in total. The next thing I can do is simplify the multiplication over here, which means I can cancel things on the top and bottom. So I have 2m minus n. I can cut that off with the square. I have this 2m minus n. I can cut that off with this. So now I can multiply the top with the top and the bottom with the bottom, because nothing else cancels out. I'll write this the same, 5m minus n over 2m plus n minus 3m plus 5n divided by 2m plus n times 3m plus n. Now that I've taken care of the multiplication, I just need to take care of the subtraction. And in order to do that, I need to make a common denominator. And if I look at the two denominators, these are the same, which means I'm going to multiply 3m plus n on the top and bottom of this side here, and that's going to give me a common denominator. So let's rewrite this out neatly. I have 5m minus n times 3m plus n minus 3 times m plus 5n. That one doesn't change. And now I have a common denominator of 2m plus n times 3m plus n. Now all I have to do is expand the top and combine like terms, and that will be my final solution. So let's expand. Going to have 15m squared plus 5mn minus 3mn minus n squared minus 3m minus 15n. Denominator stays the same, don't need to expand that. Then I'll combine like terms in the top. It looks like I only have two like terms over here. So my final solution is 15m squared plus 2mn minus n squared minus 3m minus 15n divided by 2m plus n times 3m plus n. And this is a fully simplified solution.